development, diplomacy, and the future of emerging nations in a rapidly transforming world. In recent years, what we can see is the global South has emerged as a stronger voice, also in shaping the direction, actually the global direction, economically, politically, and strategically as well. And within this evolving global landscape, China's role, we can see, particularly through initiatives such as the global governance, and through the particularly global governance initiative that we usually call GGI, has become an important and also a part of international discourse on development, cooperations, and also the governance frameworks. And therefore, today, here we begin the formal proceedings. I would also like to Here we begin the formal proceedings. I would also like to take a moment to acknowledge the visionary organization behind this gathering, Friends on the Cloud Platform of Influencers Nepal. Actually founded in 2020, Friends on the Cloud was built on a very simple yet very powerful belief that in a digital world, authentic human connection, of course, that will be remaining one of the most strongest force of change, bringing together voices from very, very diverse fields, including the artists, the entrepreneurs, the policymakers, the storytellers, and visionaries as well. It has created a dynamic ecosystem of ideas and also the collaboration of theirs. And their philosophy beautifully reminds us about every cloud has a silver lining and every connection has the power to change lives. And tonight, we are gathered here as part of that very vision that we need to understand, to connect, to listen, and also to exchange the ideas that really do matter. So let us all extend a warm round of applause to Friends on the Cloud for organizing this meaningful dialogue. And for those who may not know me, I am Purnima Karki, an aspiring criminal lawyer and also a media person. And it is truly my honor today hosting today's event like this. And also I'll do my best to ensure that today's conversation is meaningful and also very engaging, yet insightful as well. So yes, we have now completed the arrival and the seating arrangements of our esteemed guests. And now, with your kind permission, I would now like to formally commence today's program on the Global South and China's Governance, organized by Friends on the Cloud, Platform of Influencers, Nepal. And we have just been informed that His Excellency Dr. Chang Maoming, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the People's Republic of China to Nepal, is unable to attend today's program due to his prior official commitment. And however, we are very, very deeply honored to have with us his esteemed representatives, and Ms. Tuang Suling, and who is also the Second Secretary, Embassy of the People's Republic of China to Nepal, and Mr. Li Chongze, Third Secretary, Embassy of the People's Republic of China to Nepal. And we warmly welcome them to behalf of His Excellency and sincerely appreciate their presence at today's event. And now, formally commencing, may I kindly request Ms. Tuang Suling and Mr. Li Chongze to join us for the further proceedings. Now, may I now invite Ms. Tuang Suling to kindly proceed with the inauguration on behalf of His Excellency. Inauguration as such reminds of how we truly value our Nepali culture as well. So thank you very much for graciously inaugurating today's program. And to begin with, I would now like to invite Mr. Sabin Dhamala, Chairman of the News Agency of Nepal, for the welcome address.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Kaki. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, namaste and warm welcome to all. We stand at a historic turning point in global politics and economics. Only a few decades ago, the global stage was dominated by a handful of power. But today, time has changed. The rise of the Global South and the global governance initiatives introduced by China have sparked a new discourse aimed at making the international order more inclusive. Just a development oriented for a developing nation like Nepal, this initiative is not merely a diplomatic platform, but can serve as a gateway to development to fulfill our national aspirations. We have gathered here today, deliberate on these significant issues. First and foremost, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all our distinguished guests to have accept our invitations. In particular, the presence of Second Secretary Juan Shaoling and Mr. Li Changji, People's Republic of China to Nepal. Add the great significance to this event, our insight will undoubtedly help us better understand an essence of GGI and embrace the new dimension of Nepal-China relation. I also extend a heartfelt welcome to our international guests who have traveled from various countries. Your experiences and the perspectives will provide us with a multidimensional understanding of this topic. I am confident that the analytical presentation by our keynote speaker, the renowned economist, Dr. Sudan Oli, will provide us with invaluable policies and practical insights. On behalf of the entire team of Friends on the Cloud, I once again extend a warm welcome and best wishes to you all. To facilitate our discussion and simplify the theme, I would like to share my understanding of the GGI. The global governance initiatives proposed by China put forward a beautiful vision of community with shared future for mankind. Its core essence is to make existing international system more inclusive. Just and democratic system where the voices of all nations, large or small, are heard equally. The rapid rise and the growing confidence of the nation of the Global South have made his initiatives even more meaningful. The fundamental pillar of the GGI, multilateralism. Multilateralism does not mean making hasty decisions, but rather finding path of cooperation through patience and continuous dialogue. This is not just a theoretical debate. It is a practical process that yield tangible, result in essential areas such as infrastructure, education, health, and literacy. For Nepal, this concept truly a gateway to development. We can utilize this as an opportunity for unconditional aid, sustainable human resource development, and tackling the challenge of climate change. Embracing the spirit of shared future, Nepal should actively participate in this multilateral platform while safeguarding its national interest and sovereignty. Ultimately, a just global governance system is what will make the economic and social transformation of developing nation possible. As an active member of Global South, we must raise our voice loudly on the world stage. If we clearly define our needs and priorities, Nepal's economy can certainly reach new heights through this gateway. The steering wheel of our development must remain in our one hand, and the GGI can serve as a strong and reliable platform to open the doors to international cooperation necessary to achieve that. I am confident that today's interaction will help draw a new roadmap for Nepal's development journey and global cooperation. In conclusion, I would like to welcome once again and greet you all once again for your active participation. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sabin Thamala, for your kind and valuable remark. And now, moving forward, I would like to invite Ms. Manisha Shrestha, coordinator of the Friends on the Cloud platform of Influencers Nepal, for her remarks.
Good afternoon. Dignitaries from the Chinese Embassy, respected chairperson of the organizing committee, distinguished political leaders and delegates from South Asia, members of the diplomatic and media community, and all esteemed participants. It is a profound privilege to address this distinguished gathering today as an entrepreneur and the coordinator of the Friends on the Cloud platform of Influencer in Nepal. I stand before you not merely as an observer of international relations, but as an active participant in evolving narrative of China-Nepal as well as China-South Asia engagements. My recent trip to China significantly deepened my understanding of Chinese governance with organic experiences. I witnessed the practical realization of a Chinese governance philosophy that places the people at the absolute center. It is not about the scale of infrastructure and development, but the true translation of policy into people's everyday life. In Yunnan, I had the privilege to visit communities relocated under the targeted poverty alleviation frameworks, thriving in newly developed settlements with immediate access to healthcare, education, and one-stop public service centers. Similarly, in Beijing, I experienced the integration of advanced technology in public administration, from digital governance platform to autonomous public transit. In my observation, these are not isolated achievements solely for China. As a youth from Nepal, I felt the significance of China's developmental trajectory extends beyond its national borders. The Chinese Communist Party's commitment to institutional self-correction, evidenced by its rigorous and transparent anti-corruption mechanism, is a model for countries like Nepal. It shows that a great political organization must anchor its legitimacy not in promises, but in visible improvements in people's life. It offers a lesson for a global South. Thus, the South-South cooperation promoted by China is not merely an economic or diplomatic terminology. It is a mutual learning approach grounded in sovereign equality, non-interference, and shared developmental aspirations. My country, Nepal, is navigating a complex geopolitical realities and seeking sustainable self-reliant growth. For a nation facing similar challenges, China presents a viable model of mutually beneficial development. It reframes international engagement from a donor-recipient dynamic into a partnership of co-creation and shared development. This aligns with the vision of President Xi Jinping's Global Governance Initiative, which advocates for a more equitable, representative, and rule-based international orders. Unlike prescriptive top-down frameworks, the GGI emerges from the organic experience of developing nations proposing governance solutions that are context-sensitive, inclusive, and oriented towards shared responsibilities for a shared future. For the Global South, this initiative is not simply diplomatic discourse. It is a replicable blueprint for reshaping how developing nations engage for a shared future. Let me come back to Nepal. Nepal has a new government with a young prime minister. Chinese experience therefore offers some actionable implications for Nepal's new government. First is a long-term and a practical vision. China's developmental success is rooted in a long-term strategic vision executed at the grassroots level. Nepal's government can therefore establish technocratic mechanism and cross-party consensus framework to ensure that infrastructure development, digital transformation, and human capital investment remains uninterrupted national priorities. Likewise, a youth-led innovation must be institutionalized as a lesson learned from China. The Chinese model shows that when central policy vision aligns with grassroots execution, youth energy becomes a catalyst for national development. Another thing Nepal must proactively leverage from South-South cooperation is technology transfer and sustainable financing. Nepal can serve as a vibrant bridge for regional connectivity initiatives such as the Belt and Road Initiative. Most importantly, by aligning with GGI principles, Nepal can negotiate partnership that ensures external collaboration build domestic capacity. The Chinese experience demonstrates that anti-corruption is not merely a punitive campaign, but a foundational prerequisite for public trust and economic stability. Learning from China, Nepal's new leadership can institutionalize digital auditing, merit-based civil service reform, and independent oversight mechanism to ensure that public resources directly translate into citizen welfare and investor confidence. As youth entrepreneurs, we occupy a critical nexus between policy and practice. By engaging in China-Nepal trade corridors, joint technological ventures, and cross-border cultural initiatives, we can operationalize the spirit of South-South cooperation. Our enterprises must not merely seek commercial return. They must embody developmental ethics, community upliftment, and transnational solidarity. In my opinion, China's governance experience offers Nepal not a template to be replicated, but a philosophy to be adopted. The principle of people-centered development, institutional resilience, youth empowerment, and global South solidarity are universally applicable. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Manisha Shrestha, for your kind remarks. And ladies and gentlemen, as we now move ahead with the formal proceedings of this very important dialogue, we begin with reflections and also the perspectives from our distinguished speakers who will set the tone for today's discussion that we have been continuously mentioning, the Global South and the China's governance. And it is my pleasure to invite Dr. Sudan Oli, a very young economist and former member of the Lumbini Province Planning Commission, Nepal, to share his address with us. Over to you, sir.
Namaste, सबैजनालाई स्याउ हा. Good afternoon. Chairman of the Friends on the Cloud, Mr. Soy sir, and entire team for hosting this timely event amid of different political, regional, and international political turbulences and meeting. Distinguished representative from People's Republic of China Embassy in Kathmandu, and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen presented here today. It is my honor and privilege to be part of this event very enlightening event and share my thoughts on China's perspective of governance and global governance initiative from my perspective. We live in an era of profound transformation. The rule-based international order, rising multipolarity, climate change, technological disruption, and the widening disparity between and within the nations. Nepal is located at a very strategic location between two beautiful neighbors, India and China, with almost 280 billions of populations. For us, both nations are equally important from economic, cultural, climatic, technological, and knowledge-based approach. Nepal and China share naturally beautiful border and historical values as well. Both nations provide us with valuable lessons in diversity management and governance, fostering mutually beneficial outcomes for Nepal. No doubt, China is in the center of modern transformation and governance. Governance is not just for the public sector's governance. It is equally important for private sector. It is equally important for the individual level as well. So the definition of governance has changed over the time. Public governance is significant issue of public interest due to its impact on resource allocation, equal participation, fundamental rights, and community well-being and people's protections to all communities. The world's second largest economy and demographic asset, China has lifted almost 800 million of people out of poverty by magnificently managing the targeted program as a symbol of governance, how they manage the resources and structural utilizations. China's GDP reached 0.85 trillion this year, increasing 5% in the last year and 4.4% to 5% in this year, 2026. The world's economy, about 17% of the global economy contributing by the Chinese economy, the largest stock of the world economy. Beyond this, China has increasingly stepped onto the world stage with the vision for how nations should cooperate, how disputes should be resolved, and how global challenges should be encountered. It is that vision and the governance philosophy underpinning it to resolve the current issues. To understand China's approach to global governance, we must first understand the principle that guide governance within its own borders and its characteristics by perceive the global context. China has consistently served as a faithful builder of the world peace, a contributor to the global development, a defender for the international order, and the provider of the public goods. Focusing to the present global state, what kind of global governance system to be built and how to reform and improve the global governance. And regarding it as the fundamental guidelines to uphold the purposes of and principle of the UN Charter. China proposes the Global Governance Initiative to build up the more just and equitable global governance system and work together for a community with a shared future for humanity. There are major 5 core concepts of the core principle of the Global Governance Initiative, including committed to the sovereign equality, committed to the international rule of law, committed to the multilateralism, committed to the people's central approach, and committed to the real results of the every effort we make in the every sector. I believe that the China is and will be maintain existing practice and the principle, embrace new ideas, stay open-minded and inclusive others to principle of extensive consultation and joint contribution for shared benefit for the future. The impact of Chinese governance and the global power to influence is shown recent visit this week and last visit to the Beijing from the United States and the Russia. The 15th periodic plan has also addressed the core values of the Chinese model of governance along with many other issues, such as promoting significant advancements in high-quality development, substantial improvement in the scientific and technological self-reliance, strength in every sector, fresh breakthrough in further deepening reform comprehensively, notable cultural and ethical progress across the society, and further refinement in the quality of life via Beautiful China Initiative, Digital China Initiative, and Healthy China Initiative. This comprehensive approach of the periodic plans that mainly targeted for the Chinese characteristics socialism by 2035. So this comprehensive approach aims to foster sustainable and resilient society that prioritize the well-being of the citizen while addressing the nation's stability and growth issues. By integrating these core values, the plan lays foundation for a more prosperous future and enhance China's roles in the global space from the economic and governance approach. Enhancing global governance is the right choice for each international community to share in development opportunity and address the global challenges of all. President Xi's perspective on the global development, governance, security, and cooperation is articulated through the 5 major principles of the Belt and Road initiatives, represent significant effort in connect and collaborate with over 150 nations. The 5 overarching priorities include Chinese leaders calls this as a whole process people's democracy. A model that emphasizes consultation, grassroots participations in all sectors, and result-oriented governance practice. As distinct from the competitive electoral democracy, the critics questions the approach about the accountability mechanism within its model, but proponents point to measurables outcomes in the infrastructure that leads the world poverty eradications at unprecedented scales and rising living standard for hundreds of millions of peoples in the country. Likewise, the concept of harmonious society, the idea that social cohesion, collective well-being, and national unity take primacy over individualism. This Confucius inflected philosophy shaped not only domestic policy, but also China worldview on international space, how the governance and development should be integrated. The principle of long-termism, stability, collective interest, and pragmatic result do not stay within China's border. They travel with China's diplomat, its development finance, and its global initiative across the world. After 2015, China has moved from a largely reactive participant in international affairs to a proactive architect of new global frameworks. A series of major initiatives define this ambition by the BRI, GDI, GSI, GCI, and GGI itself, what we are talking today. The China floored OR, now BRI in 2013. And this is perhaps China's most ambitious framework for global governance. As already shared now more than 150 countries are part of this, accounting 51.9% of proactive architect of new global frameworks. A series of major initiatives define this ambition by the BRI, GDI, GSI, GCI, and GGI itself, what we are talking today. The China floored OR, now BRI in 2013. And this is perhaps China's most ambitious framework for global governance. As already shared now more than 150 countries are part of this, accounting 51.9% of today. Global South and BRI has offered something that traditional Western-led institutions often could not: fast financing, minimal coordinate, and tangible result from the existing practice of resources and institutional setup. Another initiative proposed by 2021 by the presidency, the Global Development Initiative, the GDI represents China's response to a dangerous global development gap worsened by the COVID-19 pandemic and compounding crisis after that. The GDI calls for reminding the commitments to the United Nations 2030 Sustainable Development Goal with 6 core principles. Development should be prioritized, people-centric approach, benefit to all communities, innovation-driven, harmonies between nature and human, and the result-oriented again. So every effort we made for that should be the result-oriented. These core principles of this initiative focus on poverty reduction, food security, health, climate, industrialization, and digital connectivity. Now, more than 100 countries and international organizations have collaborated to add to these initiatives as well, just like BRI have 150 plus. Linking all previous initiatives and concepts, including in BRI framework, development initiative, security initiative, and civilization initiative, and other multilateral and bilateral initiatives from 2025, the presidency floored the concept of global governance initiative, which is the main theme of today's discussions. The main aim of this to provide the institutional architect for all that lead the world development and stability. Together, the GDI, GSI, GCI, and GGI now constitute China's most holistic and ambitious articulation, yet of an alternative vision for world order addressing development, security, civilization, and governance architecture as an integrated framework of human effort for the sheer benefit. China is the second largest contributor to the United Nations budget as well, and the largest contributor of the peacekeeping troop among the 5 permanent members of the Security Council. Within the World Trade Organization, China has defended the existing rule-based trading order when it serves as in its interest and challenge it when it does not. Meanwhile, China's total import and export of goods reached to 45.4 trillion yuan in 2025 alone, up to 3.8% increase in year-on-year basis. The distinguished personalities, ladies and gentlemen, when I look toward the governance of the Chinese model, that in terms of institutional, economic, or other public governance, I deeply impressed by the main 3 leaders of the China. Chairman Mao Zedong, former President Deng Xiaoping, and the current President Xi Jinping, who leads the political, economic, and integrated governance structure of the People's Republic of China. The chairman led the political restructure, and the President Xi Jinping is leading and Deng Xiaoping led the economic restructure, and Xi Jinping is leading the integrated structure of governance of politics and development with Chinese characteristics. So Nepal and China have deep-rooted and historical relationship based on value, mutual respect, and win-win situation. Many Nepalese students and businessmen are living in China, in the different corner of the China. Myself stay there for 4 years, from the 2019 to 2023 during my PhD, and during that period, I try to understand different approach of Chinese working modality and their governance system. Nepal can learn from Chinese governance practices being applied in some cases. Chinese project governance, tech governance, academic governance, and the natural resource-based solution governance are very impressive as they provide a high level of economic productivity and efficiency. Now in 15th periodic plan, also focus on technology and innovating an AI-based industrial reform and service delivery model. The Chinese model of the education system and industrial governance are also a few major areas observed for the enhancement of public service delivery and effective utilization of public resource, like in Nepal's context. China is supporting Nepal's development through various frameworks. Both countries participate in the several multilateral platforms as well, including the Asian Infrastructure Development Bank, which Nepal is also the founding member of that bank, and the World Trade Organization and many other platforms. Additionally, Nepal has signed the Belt and Road Initiative Framework. Support is also provided for projects such as Kathmandu Ring Road, Pokhara Regional Airport, and other sport infrastructure, and many other private sectors investment as well. So the government of Nepal is committed to maintaining good governance and fostering mutual respect in relations with the China, guided by the 5 principles of international relations. Nepal consistently upholds the One China policy, and the both official and the political leaders are committing this frequently. Governance is not just a legal and institutional setup. It is increasingly recognized as the cornerstone of welfare, and the public and private sectors prioritize equal to ensure the well-being of the peoples. I believe The newly formed governments in Nepal is more focused on governance issues since the focus on good governance agenda in the last election. Many of us think that governance challenges have hindered Nepal's development. So ladies and gentlemen, let me close with this reflection. The world does not benefit from the conflict. It does not benefit from the fragmentation of the global economy into the rival bloc or the paralysis of the multilateral institutions by geopolitical rivalries. When the world needs urgently and desperately is effective global governance, governance that addresses the climate change before it becomes permanent. The governance that can change the risk of artificial intelligence before they become uncontrollable. Governance that can close the development gap before despair turns to the conflict. The China Governance Initiative, whatever their imperfection, whatever the legitimate questions they raise, it is significant for the global peace and prosperity. This initiative by China will be the roadmap for the next generation of governance across the world. And thank you so much for this wonderful event and listening my word, ladies and gentlemen. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sudan Oli, for your valuable and thought-provoking address. As Dr. Sudan mentioned about the GZI's major principles that includes multilateralism, that includes respect for sovereignty, that includes the development-centered governance, the inclusivity and all. So we really believe that these principles are the major frameworks that will be very necessary for the geopolitical shifts and the environment that the world is going through globally. So moving forward, our next distinguished speaker of the session, Mr. Karma Dorji, who is also a former Minister of Industry, Commerce and Employment of Bhutan, to share his address, and may now kindly invite him to the stage.
Let me begin by thanking the organizers, Friends on the Cloud, Platform of Influencers Nepal, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste, Kuzu Zangpo, and good afternoon from a fellow Himalayan neighbor, where we are connected by the Himalayas and pure pristine glaciers that connects us from its water, the source of life. It is a profound honor to stand before you today to speak on the Global South and China's governance, happiness to its people. I bring not just analysis, but personal reflections shaped by my own experience from Bhutan, as well as my study of China. Parallel fit in human history to building world-class infrastructure and pursuing civilization. China has shown what disciplined long-term planning can achieve. President Xi's emphasis to common prosperity is especially inspiring. It is not about uniformity, but about ensuring that development benefits all and mirrors Bhutan's GNH approach, where happiness is holistic, encompassing health, education, psychological well-being, and harmony with nature. During my time engaging with Bhutan's development work, I have seen how targeted interventions, improving rural roads, education, and healthcare uplift entire communities while preserving our pristine environment. China's targeted poverty alleviation strategy, with this precision mapping of the household, data-driven policies, offers practical lessons here. It demonstrates that with strong governance and people-first practice, even the most challenging geographies can heritage. Similarly, China's shift towards green development, lucid waters, and lush mountains are invaluable assets, aligns beautifully with our constitutional mandate to maintain at least 6% forest cover. These are not abstract. respecting water, mountains, nature, a shared Himalayan heritage. Across the Himalayas, in China, Nepal, Bhutan, India, and Bangladesh, people have long revered mountains as sacred abodes of gods. Gautama Buddha, born in the Himalayan foothills of Lumbini in present-day Nepal, taught us the profound interdependence of all life. He emphasized living in harmony with nature, practicing non-harming, ahimsa, and understanding that our well-being is inseparable from the health of the environment. Buddhist traditions across our region remind us that mountains, forests, and rivers are not mere resources. They are living entities deserving respect and protection. In Bhutan, this is enshrined in our constitution and GNH. In Nepal and India, sacred peaks like Everest and Kailash, rivers like Ganges and Brahmaputras are worshipped. In Bangladesh, the delta's mighty river teach lessons of resilience and balance. And in China, the philosophy of ecological civilization beautifully complements this ancient wisdom, showing how modern governance can integrate reverence for nature into national policies. The balance of nature is a core requirement for true happiness. When we degrade our environment, we erode the very foundation of human well-being. Clean air, pure water, fertile soil, and spiritual peace. Therefore, this balance must be integrated into governance itself, not as an afterthought, but as a central pillar. Personal reflections and takeaway from Global South. As a Buddhist, I stand at the crossroad of two great Asian civilizations, one ancient and vast, the other small yet resolute in its unique path. Bhutan does not have formal diplomatic relations with China yet, but we share the Himalaya, spirit of mutual respect, sovereignty, and peaceful coexistence. My personal interactions and observations of cross-border goodwill, cultural exchanges, and people-to-people connections give me hope for deeper collaboration in the future, one that respects our unique identities while learning from each other. Here are some key implications I draw from Global South infused with Buddhist perspective. Happiness and well-being as core governance goal. GDP is important, but insufficient. Bhutan's GNH and China's focus on common prosperity teach us to measure success by how people feel, their security, community ties, and spiritual fulfillment. For nations in the Global South, integrating well-being indicators into policy can prevent the pitfalls of unbalanced growth. Poverty alleviation with cultural and environmental integrity. China's success proves that rapid poverty reduction is possible without erasing cultural identity. In Bhutan, we have reduced poverty significantly while safeguarding our Buddhist heritage and biodiversity. The lessons combine infrastructure and economic opportunities with targeted support that respect local contexts. Long-term vision and stability. China's 5-year plan and strategic continuity provide stability that attracts investment and enables transformation. Bhutan's own multi-year plan under GNH demonstrates similar insights. For the Global South, building institutional resilience beyond our short-term politics is vital. South-South cooperation and mutual learning. President Xi's Global Development Initiative and Belt and Road projects emphasizes win-win partnership. For a small nation like Bhutan, nestled between giants, such cooperation, balanced with our close ties to our neighboring countries and commitment to gross national happiness, can unlock hydropower, tourism, digital connectivity, and sustainable agriculture. I believe stronger people-to-people ties, knowledge exchanges, and respectful dialogues will benefit us all. Personal call to action in my visits across Bhutan, from rice fields to fields of Punakha to the highlands of Bumthang, I have witnessed the quiet determination of our people to pursue happiness on our own terms. China's experience reinforced that we in the Global South need not choose between growth and well-being. We can have both through pragmatic governance, innovation, and solidarity. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, as a Bhutanese who cherishes cross-national happiness, I see in China's governance a powerful partner in the quest for human happiness and shared prosperity. The mountains that divide us physically connect us spiritually. Let this forum in Kathmandu be a starting point to a deeper reflection, collaboration, and action. May we draw wisdom from China's journey, enrich it with Bhutan's gentle philosophy of happiness, and together build a more equitable, peaceful, and joyful world for the global South and beyond. Thank you, Tashtile. I look forward to our future discourse.
Thank you very much, Mr. Karma Durji, for your insightful and meaningful address. Yes, happiness. He majorly emphasized about what happiness means and how does it impact on today's world. The pursuing happiness on our own terms, and also his reflections on the Himalayan region, its ecological significance, and its strategic importance within the border, and the regional cooperation have certainly added a very valuable dimension to today's discussion. And also, he very thoughtfully connected this perspectives to the evolving global framework, such as the global governance initiatives and also the role of the Global South. And now we are proceeding to the next segment of the program, and we have Dr. Muhammad Belal Hussain Nazim, ophthalmologist and also assistant health.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, namaste. I'm Dr. Belal from Bangladesh, and it's a privilege and an honor to be here today and share a few words with you. Thanks to Friends on the Cloud for everything. It is not only geography, but also shared culture, heritage, and history that connects both Bangladesh and Nepal. Nepal and Bangladesh faced remarkably similar challenges in recent past. In case of Bangladesh, for more than a decade, the autocratic previous government rigged election, suppressed the people's voice through repressive laws, police cases, executed numerous enforced disappearance, and killed people protesting for their rights. However, every long night has a dawn. And after more than a decade of oppression, our students and mass people took to the street and overthrew the autocratic government through mass uprising in August 2024. Not so surprisingly, just in a year, in 2025, the Nepalese youth brought change in Nepal. Nepal has also fought against corruption, broken system, and rampant unemployment. While our situation were not fully identical, but our demands and underlying philosophies share a deep similarity. Let's keep in mind that uprising is just the beginning of a long journey ahead. Following the uprising in our country, public expectations soared. However, excessively high expectation can lead to unique problems. After the uprising in 2024, an interim government was formed in Bangladesh. While the interim government attempted to reform everything all at once within a short time frame, they failed miserably. On the other hand, our party, BNP, took a realistic and pragmatic approach. We emphasized that every single issue could not be solved overnight. Rather, interim government should focus on one of the fundamental elements of modern democracy, election. We advocated to build a resilient and robust election system. This ensures that no one can resort to unfair means in the future, forcing every subsequent government to remain accountable during their tenure. As we have seen the previous administration transform into fascist, one precisely because they were able to control the electoral process without needing the people's votes. Finally, a free, fair, participatory election was held in 2026, and the Bangladesh Nationalist Party formed the government after winning a resounding victory of two-thirds majority. Immediately after the formation of government, our Honorable Prime Minister Tariq Rahman made law and order situation his top priority, and within only 3 months, we are in far better position than we could have imagined. My dear friends, as like Bangladesh, we believe the people of Nepal have been granted a vital opportunity to reform their own systems, and we hope Nepal shines brightly in the future. New government has been formed in Nepal too, and under the leadership of Prime Minister Balendra Shah, we believe Nepal will make the dream of young Nepalese come true. Ladies and gentlemen, moving on the topic of China's governance and the Global South, I recently visited China alongside several Nepali friends. We observed many fascinating aspects of the country, including their breathtaking landscapes, rapid innovation, and governance structures spanning both capital cities and rural areas. As we all know, the Global South represents the majority of the world's population. China has launched numerous initiatives targeting this region, positioning itself as a development partner that operates without political interference. Countries in the Global South face unique political complexities, complex public mindset, and long histories of administrative mismanagement. Our people fiercely dislike external interference and prefer to maintain their sovereignty, yet we simultaneously crave development. We desperately need good governance, job security, and progress. We love our land. We deeply value our voices. During my time in China, I observed their one-stop civil service center where citizens can access all public services in a single location, effectively bypassing bureaucratic red tape and harassment. We witnessed their protected wetlands and how they are actively combating climate change. We saw their river management system, which assigns a single accountable individual to oversee each river. Furthermore, we observed how they manage their villages by creating localized employment, utilizing land economically and advancing agricultural technologies. Their robotic development and tech-driven city management were equally impressive, as was their dedication to preserving cultural heritage too. Our host also introduced us to their political system. I believe the Global South needs to address their own problem by themselves, and without any doubt, Global South is more than capable of achieving that. Our Honorable Prime Minister Tariq Rahman, upon his return to Bangladesh, after more than a decade, said that I have a plan. We are now working together to implement the plan to solve our problems with our resources. At the same time, we hope that we will see Nepal shining in near future and Global South rising to the task and bridge the gap with Global North with their hard work, dedication, and patriotism. Thank you. Thank you, friends on the cloud, once again. Long live Nepal-Bangladesh friendship.
Thank you so much, Dr. Muhammad Bilal Hussain, for your insightful address. And of course, your remarks offered valuable perspectives on Bangladesh's current political and governance context, along with broader reflections on development and regional dynamics as well. So we really appreciate your contribution to today's dialogue on the Global South and its evolving governance frameworks. Now, moving forward with the next segment of the program, it is my pleasure to invite Dr. Renu Rana, Professor of International Relations, Flame University, India, to share her address, who is also from Foundation for Liberal and Management Education University, is from Flame University. Over to you, ma'am.
Good evening, distinguished guests, respected dignitaries, respected representatives from the Embassy of People's Republic of China, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure to be present here today in Nepal, a land of profound traditions, civilizational depth, and geographical confluence. Time here carries a vast civilizational memory, millions of years shaping the Himalayas, and several more witnessing the convergence of human civilizations. Not to forget, this is also the land of Adi and Ant. Nepal is a meeting point of civilizations and ideas, and today we gather here for another meaningful confluence, the confluence of ideas on the Global South and China's governance experience. Change is eternal. Our world today is witnessing transformations in technology, economics, governance, and global power structures at an unprecedented pace. The Global South, in particular, is experiencing a period of renewed assertion and growing confidence. As nations seek development models suited to their own societies and histories, there is increasing interest in understanding different paths of governance and modernization. In this context, China occupies an important place in contemporary global discourse, from culture and commerce to technological advancement and governance. China has emerged as one of the central actors shaping the 21st century. As someone who has closely engaged with China through academic and lived experiences, and as an Indian, I have always been deeply curious about China, not merely as a rising power, but also as a civilization with its own historical experiences, philosophical traditions, and developmental journey. Many discussions about China are often framed through distinct perceptions and assumptions. However, experiencing China directly offers a far more nuanced understanding. As they often say in China, seeing is believing. Living in China and observing Chinese society closely was not only academically enriching for me, but also personally transformative. It allowed me to understand the relationship between governance, society, culture, and everyday life in a much deeper way. So now, let me come to share my experiences from China. One of the most striking aspects of Chinese society is the emphasis placed on social responsibility, discipline, and collective harmony. The idea of development in China is not viewed only through the lens of economics, but also through social organization, public participation, and long-term planning. There is a strong belief that individual progress and national progress are interconnected. Another important feature I observed was the respect for history, heritage, and the environment. Mountains, rivers, historical spaces, and cultural traditions are not treated merely as physical entities or tourist attractions. They are seen as living components of civilizational continuity. China has invested significantly in preserving historical sites, maintaining urban and rural infrastructure, and integrating cultural heritage into modern life. This creates a powerful connection between past, present, and future generations. China is also a deeply diverse and vibrant society. Beyond popular stereotypes, it is ethically diverse, culturally layered. Different cuisines, dialects, traditions, and local identities coexist within a broader national framework. This diversity contributes to social vibrancy, innovation, and a stronger sense of belonging among people. Another point which I want to highlight is the role of youth in India. I believe the role of youth in China. I believe the role of youth in China is particularly noteworthy. During my time there, I witnessed how energetic, disciplined, and future-oriented young people are. They're highly conscious of their role in the society and actively participating in shaping the future of their nation. This is something I believe many societies can draw inspirations from. Lastly, in the past decades, I have seen China has embedded technology in most aspects of human life. Technology is no longer a science experiment. It has become accessible to ordinary citizens in their daily lives. From transportation, digital payments, to governance and public services, transportation and technology has been embedded into society at a remarkable scale. China demonstrates that modernization and technological advancements can emerge through models shaped by local realities and national priorities. If I may say, inclusion, not exclusion, leads to common prosperity and growth. The more we engage with one another, the richer our collective experiences and partnerships become. Today, the world is witnessing major geopolitical and economic transitions. In such times, countries of Global South must not remain mere spectators to global change. We must actively participate in shaping the future through dialogue, innovation, mutual respect, and shared prosperity. As we gather here today to exchange ideas and perspectives, I hope this discussion continues not only to deeper mutual understanding, but also to stronger people-to-people connections and greater regional cooperation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Renu Rana, a final speaker of today's event. And your reflection on Nepal, China, and India offered a very meaningful conversation and also highlighted major things that included the dynamics, the interdependence, and also the importance of the cooperation in shaping the future of the Global South. So, moving forward, we will now like to move towards the closing segment of today's program. And for that, I would like to invite Mr. Sovit Upriti, event chairperson, for the closing remarks and the token of love presentation. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, and thank you for accept our invitation and come here and our dialogue about the GGI. GGI is a new innovation of the President Xi Jinping for Global South development, prosperity, unity. We already talked about these things. We already discussed these things. I think much more, no need to explain to you, all of you. So we are inviting to you, and you, with each other, we are going to closing the year in the formal this program after giving some token of love. I invite to Mr. Madan Das Shrestha, Kumar Karki, and Navaraj to provide the token of love and our guest on behalf of Friend of the Cloud. After that, we are close this formal program. Then after that, also we have some small program, informal program. We are waiting for that also. Please take time for a few minutes. Manandai Kumar, Timari, seat me. Please provide the token of love in the seat. Where in the where? Here, you look the name, according to name. Manisha, help to them. Help to them. Thanks, sit me. बच्चे के ठाउँमा दिने त्यहीँ बसेकै ठाउँमा दिने पहिला क्रमशः दिनु न फर एम्बेसडर गिफ्ट टु चाइनिज एम्बेसी सेकेन्ड सेक्रेटरी या आवाज आयो आवाज कहाँबाट आयो मनिषाको पनि तिमी पनि ल्याउनु मनदाई मनिषाको पनि छ नि त सबै स्पिकरहरूलाई हाम्रो टकन उपलब्ध छ मनिषाको पनि ल्याइदेऊ कुमार After this, I invite to Mr. Krishna Malla, Nepal, Chairman Nepal Film Society, and Sunil Katwal in front. We want to invite Sunil Katwal and Krishna Malla. आज हाम्रो फ्रेन्ड अफ द क्लाउडलाई पूर्णतः सहयोग गरिराख्नु भएका सुनिल कटवाल नेपाल कलाकार सङ्घको महासचिवमा निर्वाचित हुनुभएकोले उहाँलाई हाम्रो तर्फबाट हामी बधाई ज्ञापन गर्दैछौँ सिनियर एक्टर कृष्ण मल्ल एन्ड सुनिल कटवाल प्लिज कम हियर एन्ड प्लिज प्रोभाइड भन्दै उहाँ फ्रम चाइनिज एम्बेसी कुमार त्यहाँ देऊ न मनिषा एमएससीको सोध्यो न म भनिदिन्छु भइहाल्छ त्यहाँ देऊ न उहाँ एमएससीको सेकेन्ड सेक्रेटरीलाई देऊ नवरात्र फ्रेम देऊ न फ्रेम देऊ after this all the formal program are finished now we are going to take one group photo anybody can join in here for group photo
Thank you very much to all our distinguished speakers and
यो पछाडि गेस्टहरूलाई हाम्रो नयाँ पर्यटन गन्तव्य सैलुङको फोटो दिने कार्यक्रम छ त्यसमा नवराज रुद्र खड्का र राजेन्द्र उप्रेतीले सबै आजका हाम्रा अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय राष्ट्रिय गेस्टहरूलाई दिनको लागि अनुरोध गरे त्यही बसेको ठाउँमा त्यही लगेर फ्रेम दिने यो चाहिँ इन्फर्मल प्रोग्राम हो नयाँ टुरिस्ट डेस्टिनेसन अफ नेपाल न्यू टुरिस्ट डेस्टिनेसन अफ नेपाल
thank you very much to all our distinguished speakers and guests for their valuable presence and contributions. Now this is the end of our formal program.
हामी डिनरको तयारी गरेर 5-10 मिनट लाग्छ होला, त्यति बेरसम्म अनौपचारिक कुराकानी गरिदिएर हामीलाई साथ दिनु हुन अनुरोध गर्छौँ। अब हामी एकछिनपछि हाम्रो डिनर सुरु हुन्छ, त्यति बेरसम्म अनौपचारिक इन्फर्मल रूपमा बसिदिनु होला, कृपया खाएर मात्रै गइदिनु होला। ड्रिङ्क्स र स्न्याक्स चाहिँ बाहिर तयार भएको छ, बाहिरी हलमा जाँदा मिल्छ।